Facebook in case Webinar Jam stops working. So hello everybody and welcome to Magic Month of November. Sorry to those of you that were listening live. The technical problems of Mercury retrograde are absolutely phenomenal. And we are in a very deep and powerful Mercury retrograde. So for those of you listening on Facebook, I usually do Magic Month as a webinar, and my webinar technology for some reason wasn't working properly, and so I set it up on Facebook Live, and now it is actually working perfectly on Webinar Jam. So I've decided to run it on both. If you just bear with me, I'm just going to let someone who's not on Facebook know that Webinar Jam is now working, and then we will get started. It's great that more of you can be listening on Facebook. Webinar Jam is working now, so log back. So hello everybody and welcome to Magic Month of November. November is a really, really incredible month. I can't believe it is the penultimate month of the year. For those of you that do not know what Magic Month is, it is an energetic forecast show that gives you an overview of the month ahead from an energetic point of view. So astrology, channeled information, seasonal information, sacred festivals, all sorts of information is brought together to create the forecast, the energetic forecast for the month ahead. And it's so that you can use this information to make the most out of the month, using the information to live more in greater alignment, use the most powerful days for manifesting and healing, and work with the energy. So whatever is going on astrologically or energetically, you can align with it and go with the flow and the currents. And so it is an energetic forecast show that Starlight runs every month. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Karila and I am from Starlight. And Starlight is a company that holds ceremonies, courses and spiritual travel that are all about becoming more empowered, living more of your truth, living more of your own unique divine conversations with life and the universe, and doing deep healing and transformation work. And actually, I have run Magic Month for years, and it was only this month that I was tuning in and I was like, oh, I know what the forecast actually is. The forecast of Magic Month is not just an astrological forecast, it's not just an energetic forecast, it's not just a channel forecast. It is, of course, as with all things Starlight, a forecast about what to expect on the shadow level, how to kind of create deep healing out of the energies of each month. So it's really an opportunity to understand what might be going on in the great collective transformation and illumination of the shadows. And that is what I'm always guided towards each month, how to help you do your healing and alignment and transformation. And November 2019 is a really, really exciting month. I'm really excited about this forecast. I will say, because of the technical problems, which you will understand more as we go into the forecast, because I'm doing it on Facebook Live and on Webinar Jam, I'm going to be looking between screens. So I'm not looking away from any of you beautiful people. And I will also say that I really love my webinars to be co-creative. And so please do use the chat boxes on Facebook and Webinar Jam to ask questions, to share your own wisdom, your own guidance, your own experiences. And let's begin. So, whenever Mercury retrograde is happening, it shows off with technical issues on Magic Month. But we'll talk more about that because this month's Mercury retrograde is particularly potent and important. So, let's begin with a short meditation just to come into alignment. And so when you're ready, closing your eyes, feeling the muscles around your eyes relaxing as you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Really allowing your breath to breathe you. And for those of you that were there for the technical difficulties, allowing yourselves to breathe those out. Seeing if you can turn your out breath into a sigh of expansion. And your in-breath into a wind of regeneration. And as you allow your breath to breathe you, just become aware of your feet. Maybe wiggling your toes, inviting any energy that is outside of your body, any awareness that is outside of your body to come into your body. And as you bring your focus and awareness into your body, notice which parts of your body need to be breathed as you allow your feet to be still. And any tension of the day to release. Feeling the muscles of your eyes, around your eyes, gently relaxing. As you harmonize into the moment, into this now. Into the peace and the potential of this now, feeling a column of light coming down through you, instantly raising your vibration and traveling down into the heart of Mother Gaia, bouncing off the heart of Mother Gaia and traveling back up into the heart of Source. So that you are held in a two-way flow of light and love. And in this two-way flow of light and love that is infused with all of the colours of the rainbow, which is infused with the frequency of the rainbow prayer, Feel your aura expanding in all directions, sealing from top to bottom in white and golden light so that only love and light can enter. And being surrounded by violet, gold, green and blue flames so that any energy that does not serve or belong can be released from any direction and transmuted into love and light. And as this constant transmutation happens, dancing around your energy, notice that these fires are creating more and more rainbows within the column of light in which you sit. And feeling this rainbow dance projecting through your DNA, awakening the rainbow prayer. That is held within your DNA. As you open your hearts to Mother Gaia, feeling a grounding cord of energy going down through all the different layers of the earth down into the iron core, feeling the iron in your blood vibrating with the iron at the heart of Great Mother Gaia. His DNA is also dancing. With this infusion of rainbow prayer light. And allowing yourself to come into the frequency of celebration, opening up to the great transformation of which we are all a part of which we are all bearing witness to, of which we are all offering, exchanging, and co-creating within. And feeling the male, female and unity parts of your heart spiraling together, uniting into the brilliant rainbow-filled frequency of the one heart. Feeling your hearts beating to the rhythm of this rainbow prayer dance and opening your hearts to each other, to this sacred gathering webinar, and asking your hearts, why am I here? And letting your hearts answer you in thoughts, words, pictures, knowing, sensation. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. And when you are ready, coming into the room, opening your eyes, noticing how you feel. And whether you're listening in Facebook or webinar jam, it would be wonderful to hear how you are doing. So use the chat box to say how you're feeling. I have to say that was one of the most joyful starts to Magic Month. It really feels like we're entering a state of celebration, a time of celebration, and I can see why, because November is totally cosmic. And I'm so glad, Laura, that you are feeling a lot clearer. November is always a special month for our time. It's a month, it's the 11th month, and so 11 in numerology, calm, Chris, that's brilliant, that you are feeling calmer and clearer. It's amazing how quick a little moment of connection can be. And amazing, Gina, that you saw a double rainbow. Synchronicity, I love it. So November is always a special month. It's always quite a significant month for the times that we are living in, because 11 is the kind of number of awakening in numerology, and the number of light. And so it actually, in numerology, 11 translates as light. And so for this time of ascension, November every year really is one of those kind of big awakening, supercharging months. And yay, I'm glad that the technical issues mean that some of you have been gifted this webinar. And amazing, June. Sometimes we need to realize that we've disconnected from ourselves. And actually, a Mercury retrograde, which I'm about to talk about, is so about connecting to yourself. So that's a really powerful realization, and wonderful that you're feeling surrendered, calm. And so overall, November is about fierce truth, an intimate conversation with yourself, an awakening, and maybe the most important word in November is alignment. When I was tuning into Magic Month just before we started, I kind of had this understanding that November is like the opposite of the saying, all that glitters is not gold. Like, November is not looking for the gold on the surface, but digging deep to find the real gold. And the gold that's kind of almost covered in mud and doesn't look like gold at all. And it's really about not going for the surface. It's about going really, really deep. There's a huge Scorpio theme this month, massive path themes, undercurrents of abundance, quite a big emotional theme, and a lot of passion, and yet so much amazing opportunity to really step up into your path, to step up into your power, find out what your path is, and live more authentically. There's a massive water theme this month, because like I say, we've got Scorpio, but there's also quite a fire theme. And when I was tuning in to kind of those elemental energies for this month, all I can say is, like, when water and fire come together, you have boiling energy. And so that's what this month feels like. Lots and lots of stuff bubbling up from underneath the surface, lots and lots of purification. I know October was fairly intense, as was September, and we're going into what sounds like another intense month. But because of November's alignment theme and an expansion theme, it's probably going to feel slightly gentler if you can flow with the currents of it. The last few months of the year are really building up to January 2020. January 2020 is one of the most important ascension months for years and years and years. 2020 is an epic ascension year and a collective tantric awakening. And so everything now that we're coming up to the end of the year is preparing us for 2020. And November 2019 is definitely not going to let us down. Scorpio is definitely not going to let us down. And really, you know, obviously the sun's in Scorpio, but there's a kind of bigger Scorpio theme going on in November. So really understanding that Scorpio energy, understanding that Scorpio is fixed water, which means that fixed water will always go deep. And where there's fixed water, there's depth of emotion, there's depth of feeling. And the thing is emotion is where your truth is. That's what my guides say. Your emotions will tell you the truth. And if you don't listen, they will speak louder. So in a month like this, if you don't listen, if you don't connect to yourself, they are going to it will be emotionally dramatic. They're going to speak louder. So my advice is to listen. And wonderful that you're enjoying Gaia's beautiful rainbow prayers. And the first thing to talk about that's already shown off on my webinar is Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrograde is always, always, always an invitation to turn inwards. So Mercury is, amongst other things, a planet that very much rules our communication. And when a planet's in retrograde, it appears to us as if it's moving in the opposite direction. So its meaning and its magnetic effect kind of reverses. And so when Mercury retrograde is in retrograde, we are invited really to come into inner communication. It is famous for creating technical and travel problems because it's also the planet of travel. It's not really a time for big decisions, but it is a time for deep listening. And out of that deep listening, the truest, most aligned decisions can arrive. Now, Mercury went into retrograde on Halloween, on Samhain, which is the festival where the veils between the living and the dead are the thinnest. It is the beginning of winter. And Mercury is also in retrograde in Scorpio. And Scorpio is an amazing energy for going inwards, because Scorpio is unfazed by horrors. Scorpio is brilliant at doing the shadow work. It's kind of the keeper of secrets, and it allows you to really kind of go in even more. So you've got the energy of All Hallows Eve that is about essentially wisdom and the ancestors and the veils thinning. You've got the energy of Scorpio that's about really letting your emotions speak your truth, unveiling secrets and not being scared to go into the depths. And you've got Mercury retrograde. Everything this year is happening in threes. On this 3 year, I absolutely love that synchronicity. And so it's like a supercharged Mercury retrograde. And when I was tuning into it for Magic Month, I was really, really reminded of something that came through our Bosnian soul journey that we did last month, where the guides were talking about the great collective tantric awakening. And when they say tantra, they do not mean the tantra that we used to know of, that we know of on the kind of collective level that's about energy and sexual energy. But they're talking about the universal tantra, which is about the dance of sovereignty and oneness, and how you can use your life force to self-generate and co-create and come into sovereignty and oneness. And this awakening is an essential part of our next evolutionary step. It's not really coming until 2020. But what they were saying is that when everybody thinks Tantra, they immediately go to the soul, the sacral chakra, and they immediately think of the key to mastering Tantra is about healing the wounds in the sacral. And what they said is in the original Tantra temples in the last Tantric ages, and essentially our next age, our age of Aquarius, is going to be another temple age, another Tantric age. Before you went anywhere near sexual energy, before you went anywhere near the sacral, you started with the throat. You started with the truth. Because Tantra holds kind of so many keys to the creation of the universe, that how can you be trusted to embody and live those keys if you cannot live your own truth? It's like if you are not able to live your own integrity and be honest with yourself and others, fiercely honest, fearlessly honest, if you cannot pass those rights, you can never truly unlock the gifts of Tantra and the creation of the universe within your sacral center. And so it's always throat first and truth first. And this, when I tuned into this retrograde, that's what I saw, that it really is an invitation to go through the veils of the self, to go through the veils and the conditioning of the self, to go to find deeper truths within the self, to release the masks that are no longer of service to you and the conditioning that is no longer service to you. And Mercury retrograde is going to, oh my gosh, Gemma, that's so much synchronicity, that's amazing. All of the 11 life path and Scorpio, what a month you're about to have. And so this Mercury retrograde is really pulling us into our truth. It's almost pulling us at a point that it's undeniable. So that which is out of alignment in your life during this Mercury retrograde is really going to be coming up for you. You are going to see it. You are going to feel it. If you're doing a job that's not right for you, it's going to feel not just uncomfortable, closer to unbearable. If you're not being honest, it's like you're not going to get away with lying to yourself this Mercury retrograde. And that is so essential for alignment. You know, when we're out of alignment, as my guide said to someone today, it's because if you're out of alignment, it's because you're not listening. It's because you're not listening. And Gina on Webinar Gems just pulled Joan of Arc, the Voice of Truth card. She's just put it on her altar. That's amazing synchronicity too, Gina. And so the retrograde is really, really important. And what I will say then is listening. I'm going to give you a really amazing alignment technique that my guides taught me actually today in a one-to-one that will help you with that listening at the end of this webinar. And then on the 5th and 6th, so tomorrow and Wednesday, there's this really, really powerful alignment of Mars and Pluto. And Mars and Pluto are Scorpio's rulers. And so the alignment is going to amplify Scorpio's themes. So if you were not already feeling that, like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable, I'm not sure if this is right for me, sense going on, it's going to amplify tomorrow. Scorpio is also about passion, so you can expect yourself, you know, maybe if you're going on the underground to a job you don't want to do, the anger is going to start coming up, the rage might start coming up. Communication is, if you're lying a lot, your communication is, and I don't mean consciously lying, I mean unconsciously lying to yourself. Communicate, that's going to come up and show you. It's like this boiling energy. that I'm talking about, but all of it is in service to bringing you into more of your tantric truth, to bringing you into more of your divine and sacred alignment, to helping you go beneath the surface. If you have an emotion come up, go into that emotion. Don't ignore it, listen to it. Why is it angry? Why is that communication with that person just upset you? What is the thing that you haven't said? Watch out for blame, because blame is another piece of guidance that came out of Bosnia. My guide said blame is the energy that happens when you're out of alignment. And I mean, all we need to do is look up the political stage at the world, and there is so much blame happening because we're in this process of realignment. And so all of the blame between tribes and philosophies is starting to purge. And so look on a micro level at where you're holding blame during this retrograde. That will really help you find where you're out of alignment in your life, where things are not in alignment. And alignment is where your path is, and it's got a big theme. The undercurrent theme of this month is abundance, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, because abundance and your path are really, really connected. So I'm feeling like for a lot of you, the alignment's going to be about the work you're doing, the way you're working, even if you're working in the right way. I know that for me, some of the ways I'm working have already been called up, have already been called into question in the sense of if I'm getting the balance between joy and work. And the work-life balance has already started to come up in my face. And then as we go on into the month, we've got that very important 11/11 day, which is always a powerful day of awakening. It's always a powerful day to raise your vibration, to connect to ascension. There's usually lots of amazing ceremonies going on around the world. I'm actually going to be in Mexico with Solara at a rainbow gathering in Palenque. I think there are spaces left for people that are called lastminute.com to join that. Palenque is amazing. But what is really amazing about this 11/11 is the transit of Mercury is happening on that day. And the transit of Mercury is rare anyway. For it to time with the 11/11 is amazing. So it's not going to happen again until 2032. And what is special about the transit of Mercury is, and it's happening within retrograde, which is even more important in terms of this illuminating of the shadows, because Mercury retrograde is about going inwards into the darkness, into the unconscious, especially when it's in Scorpio, who loves to take you deep down into the unconscious. And especially after a nice meeting of Mars, the war god, and Pluto, the underworld god, just before it. So we've got all of this shadow turning, all of this shadow revelation, realization coming up to the surface, being boiled up. And then we have the transit of Mercury. And so the transit of Mercury is a little bit like an eclipse with Mercury. It's when Mercury passes between the sun and the earth. You can actually see Mercury crossing over the sun. And it's like an eclipse. Mercury is not big enough to eclipse the sun. But the sun represents our life force energy, our consciousness, it represents our life force. It is our spiritual energy, our source energy. Mercury represents our communication, and when it's in retrograde, it represents our inner communication. So the sun is how we create, it's how we dream, it's our light. Mercury is how we express and communicate and our truth. And then the earth is our matter, our physical body. And for those three energies to be aligning in the middle of this kind of shadow boiling energy we're being carried into for purification this month, on the 11:11, when there is, which is all about alignment and activation and ascension anyway, it's like a massive opportunity for your source body and expression to, it is an alignment of those things, but to upgrade, to awaken, for the shadows to be illuminated. I mean, for it to be happening on the 11:11, to me just feels like, wow, everything that is aligning at that time is just going to receive such an activation and awakening. And that's why it's so important you take the Mercury retrograde opportunity to listen, to go inwards, to feel in. And it will give you one of those, it's like, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those moment days where like all the things you've been struggling with and trying to understand, you can finally be like, suddenly the light will pop, suddenly the shadows will illuminate, suddenly that thing you've been working through can have the breakthrough, the false bubbles can pop, and the truth can step forward into it. Remember, 11 means light, so 11:11 is awakening, is light. It's going from unconscious to conscious, and that on that alignment of the creational energy, the life force energy, the communication energy, and the body energy. I mean, those are the three energies of your path. And so to be aligned in your path, I would say, if you can get to ceremony that day, wherever you are, whether it's that you hold it for yourself or if you can seek out a circle, be in circle. When you are in circle, when you are in the ceremony on days like that, you can connect to the whole collective. You have so much more of an opportunity to take vibrational leaps. In oneness, we can receive so much more on these kind of days. So if you can find ceremony in whatever form, whether it's a drum circle, you know what? If I'm thinking of Chris, my cousin, who's watching, and he's in Morocco, you know what? Go into a mosque. You don't have to go to conscious ceremony. Going into any ceremony where people are in prayer, I don't mean that Islamic ceremony is unconscious. What I mean is that you don't have to go into New Age ceremony, into ceremony that's necessarily about awakening. You can go into any sacred place that is about coming together in prayer, if it feels right in your heart. And just being in collective prayer will activate the rainbow prayer within you, will activate your DNA that day. So there is no excuses, because there is ceremony all over the world. There will be ceremony near you, wherever you are. And then straight after that awakening, in the light that is casting from the 11:11, we go into the full moon, which is in Taurus. And Taurus is really good for abundance. The moon is very positive. The energy around the moon is fairly positive. It's about expansion. Yeah, please do let us know where you end up, Chris. It's about expansion. It's about abundance, but it's also about bringing this into form. So the other thing that might be starting to come up in this Mercury retrograde is money. I know a lot of people are suddenly having their poverty consciousness come up and money worries come up. And that's because part of alignment, this month is all about becoming aligned. That 11:11 opportunity is about becoming aligned and aligning on all levels of the self. And kind of like imagine the light just coming on in the midst of all that Mercury retrograde shadow. And money is a heart energy. We spend money on things we love, on things we want, on things we desire, on things we want to create and things we believe in. It's a heart energy. Poverty consciousness tends to happen when we are trying to make money in ways that are out of alignment with our path. And because of this Taurus full moon, that full moon is going to be working through the retrograde, bringing up where we're out of alignment with money, where we're not earning money in the way that is most fulfilling and joyful and heart-centered for us. And so when you are walking your path, your abundance flows, and that doesn't always mean you have more money, because abundance is a feminine energy. Money is a feminine energy. It's cyclical. But you do not resent the time you exchange for making it. And so you always feel abundant. And so if you're not feeling very abundant, it's because there's some part of your consciousness that's needing to realign around work and earning and spending and giving, and to come back to the heart. And so this theme is also coming up this month, but it's really as a map. Well, when I tuned in, it's like a map to show you where you are in your path alignment, to show you, as is time. Time is another great one. If you're feeling really out of time, really overwhelmed, really rushed, it's because you're not quite aligned. You might be halfway there, but you're not quite aligned. Time is when we have time poverty. It's when we're people pleasing, and so really notice these patterns, because they're being pulled up by the Taurus moon, so that on the Taurus moon you can set really powerful intentions, so that by then, and by the 11/11 really, because you're in the energy of the full moon, then you can really come into that expansion, come into that worthiness. It's a really powerful time to manifest. I would recommend under the Taurus full moon doing a manifestation with an offering, because the Taurus full moon is very physical. An offering, somebody asked me about offerings and why I do so much manifesting with offerings. And, you know, I did it originally because I was guided to. And then I actually was like, I better tune in about why I'm doing this now. I've been asked that question. And the message I got was so beautiful. And it was that because there's so much stuff going into the system that is unblessed, that is the opposite of blessed, that is factory made. So there's no gratitude being given for it. There's no ceremony within our food chains as human beings, a lot of our food chains. And that blessing energy that our ancestors used to do with offerings keeps the blessing energy recycling through the system. And so when you make a physical offering, what you're doing is you're returning blessed energy into the system. And that's why it's such a powerful manifestation. So get some flowers, go to somewhere nature, only get biodegradable, environmentally safe offerings. You can offer to whoever calls you. You can offer herbs, you can offer flowers. Of course, offering is ultimately about intention, but for this new moon, for this full moon, that is how I would recommend manifesting. And also really opening your heart to expansion and, of course, that buzzword, alignment. Then on the 21st, Mercury comes out of retrograde, so it should... some of the boiling should come down and ease off a bit, and then it's in its kind of integration period. So the rest of the month on a shadow healing level will be about integrating everything that you have realized in that massive alignment journey and truth-telling journey, that where all emotion and everything is magnified, and if you're listening, it will be magnified in a very graceful way, and if you're not listening, it will be magnified in a very boiling emotional way. And so the rest of the month is really quite glorious, in terms of it being really about arriving. And there's a really, really exciting date, a galactic alignment between the 19th and 24th of November, where Jupiter, which is basically the planet of path and abundance, so the themes of the early part of the month, moves across the galactic center, which is a really pivotal, super active, charged part of our solar system. And that means that Jupiter's energy is going to be amplified. And Jupiter is like the yummy planet. Like, it's all about expansion and path and abundance, and that amplification, how I see it. And it, again, it's quite rare. It's not happening for another 12 years. So it's a kind of sacred time, really powerful time to manifest, really powerful time to take all of those insights from the Mercury retrograde and start putting them into action, to seed a new project, to manifest. My guides at the end of this want to talk about some vibrational manifesting and the kind of 5D way of the law of attraction. And for this time, that would be a really good thing to do, the 5D way of the law of attraction. One of the things I'd like to collectively invite, romance. Jupiter's going to amplify romance. It's going to boost your energy. It will help to reset you after that big boiling period. It's like, imagine all the water's been boiled in the Mercury retrograde, like activation, and then imagine the water gets blessed by Jupiter and becomes sacred, holy rainbow flowing water. And that is kind of what is happening on a cellular level to us. And so yeah, it's a really, really powerful month. And what I would recommend calling in, because it's part of this tantric awakening, is self-generating. So because that's part of our collective alignment. We have lived in the Piscean age, the laws of exchange, the laws of, I give my time for money, I give my love for this, and I give this for this, and that's how we've done things in the age of separation. And one of the ways we can really start to access our unlimited self is to start calling in self-generating, start exploring the concept of what it means to self-generate, of what it means to come into two-way flow, of what if we don't need to be loved because we are love in overflow, of coming into overflow and self-generation. And then 24th of November, right at the end of that, if you weren't blessed enough, Venus and Jupiter are aligning in Sagittarius over the galactic center. And so that's really like the launch. Sagittarius is the great kind of warrior. And it's another ascension launch of putting all of that insight energy from the start of the month into action. Because one thing I will say about this time that I'm feeling so strongly about is that the universe is not going to treat us like babies anymore. It's like we have to put into action. We have to show up. We're not going to be breastfed all the time. Like, we're ready to step up. And so it's really important that you take your manifestations and insights and intentions and dreams into the body and into action. because action is where alignment happens. And what I would do in the 19th to the 24th time is really use that time. One of the other big themes my guides keep talking about is permission. They're like, permission, permission, permission. What if you wake up and you, after that insight time of Mercury retrograde, and you grant yourself permission to not live from those patterns anymore, or permission to experience self-generation, or permission to come into abundance. This galactic center time, really, intention is the center of everything. And so with our path passing through the galactic center, Jupiter passing through the galactic center, our path passes through our center, and we can enter our center of potential through the gateway of permission. And so as a kind of going about your day practice, permission, 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 giving yourself permission to experience something new, giving yourself permission to let go of those things that are not in alignment because you know they are not true for you. Giving yourself permission to speak more of your truth to yourself and others. I would actually do this the whole month, because this month is about truth and alignment. But I would especially do it in that 19th to 24th time. And then it's about action. That's a brilliant intention, Gina. Like, you're not going to allow yourself to think about the past or resonate with those old energies and regrets. I think in Mercury retrograde time, so up until the 21st, you will struggle not to think about the past. Scorpio goes so deep, and because it also opened on the Ancestral Festival, I would say that it opened on the Festival of the Ancestors, the Festival of the Old Ones. The DNA is purging, and the past is going to purge because of what Mercury retrograde aligned with. But maybe from the 19th onwards, definitely the 21st onwards, that would be a really powerful intention to have, is my personal advice. But of course, follow your own hearts. Anybody else have ideas or suggestions, please do put them in. And then what we have after this like really yummy time is on the November 26th, we have the new moon in Sagittarius, and this is the last new moon before the next eclipse season begins. And those of you that know Magic Month will know that I am obsessed with eclipses, because from a transformation point of view, they are the most powerful time to heal. And after an eclipse window, you always have a healing cycle that goes to the next eclipse window. So you will start to feel things wrapping up. The things you started working on in July will start to be showing up, the final revisit of those lessons, of those themes. And this is amplified by the fact that Chiron, who is our wounded healer asteroid and really part of our shadow healing journey, comes out of its retrograde on December 12th, and it went into retrograde in July. So we really have a completion of a cycle, and that's what you're going to start to feel around the new moon. And again, it's about, after kind of partying with Jupiter, it's about coming back into that more conscious, more aware state, that self-listening state, that observation state, but also that sense of rewarding yourself for what has shifted. Think of the journey you have been on since July. I know it's been epic for me. I'm sure it has been epic for you. And then this winter solstice, that's Magic Month of December, but everything is kind of building up to the winter solstice, which is the beginning of this great 2020 tantric awakening. And so that is our month of November, and that's what I mean. It's it's the opposite of that saying, all that glitters is not gold. It's like there's no glitter in November, but oh my God, there's real gold when you dig deep, and there is the revealing of the gold. And what I would like to share now is that the alignment as a law, as a temple law, as a tantric universal law, as in LORE, is that what is right for me is right for everyone, because we are all one. And so when you are truly listening to yourself and truly being honest with yourself and coming through your heart and not your fear, what is right for you is right for everyone. So everywhere that you are people-pleasing, suppressing, draining, following traditions and conditioning that is holding you back from your path and your destiny, that is stopping you from being in your divine alignment, which is where you are perfectly aligned with your purpose, whether that purpose is a moment of rest, a moment of joy, where you're totally in the expression of your truth from inside to outside. That is when you access the abundance of the universe. That is when you access like I was saying, you don't get paid if you don't turn up to work. And so it's like, if you're not living your purpose, how can you be in the flow? If you're not living your alignment, how can you be in the true flow and overflow that is available? And that's why this abundance consciousness is coming up. That's why this theme of truth is coming up. And that's why the theme of intimacy is coming up, but not intimacy with other people, intimacy with yourself. How many times a day are you ignoring yourselves? And I'm speaking to myself as well. How many times a day are you eating something that isn't right for you? Or pushing your body when it's not right for you? Or not saying something to someone you love because you don't want to hurt them. And this is what Mercury and Scorpio are going to be dragging up for all of us, so that we come in to fierce truth with ourselves. And so I'm going to do card of the month, and I'm going to do this vibrational manifesting and alignment technique that my guides have given me. But there's a couple of things I want to let you know about. I'm going to post them on here. I'm going to post them on Facebook for those of you that want to listen. For those of you that are listening on Facebook, and I'm going to put the links up on here. So the first, I don't even have the links in the new webinar. Sorry, guys. So they're all going to be on the Facebook group and in the thank you email. Well, I have one link. So the first thing to talk about is that this week on Friday is the early bird for our 2020 course in channeling and connection. And I am not joking, guys, at all, that I'm not joking when I say that 2020 is so spectacular, especially January. There's such an important astrological alignment happening in January, and 2020 is a total ascension activation year. And for me, channeling is one of the most amazing things anybody can learn how to do, and especially in terms of becoming more aligned, because the more you are able to live in the divine conversation with your higher self, with your body, with your soul, with your guides, with the earth, the easier it becomes and more magical it becomes to be aligned. This channeling course, Starlight's channeling course, you are just surrounded with protection and magic, and taken on this total path, rebirthing journey and awakening journey, and it's very much catered to individual empowerment and individual gifts, so you become the channel that you can be. And the fact that we're doing it in January 2020 just feels so incredibly cosmic and aligned and magical. And the early bird is on Friday, so if you're called to come, that is the deadline for it, for the early bird. And yeah, channeling is one of the best investments, whatever your path is. If you know how to connect to yourself and your guides, your path is going to be so much easier. Living with faith, it's like you don't have to do it on your own anymore. You know, like you have constant support, and so and in these crazy times, the more support we can access, the better, because we're having to take these huge leaps of faith and change and transformation, and create a new world. And there's so much support there for you, if you can learn to open up and channel and connect. And so yeah, channeling is amazing. Do not miss out on our channeling course. For a November offering from Starlight, and guys, I'm sorry on Webinar Jam, that's all I have in the links because of the technical problems of me opening up another webinar. But in as a November offering, we have Ascending into Overflow, which was originally done in July, and so it's a really nice completion of that, and I didn't even realise this when it was guided to be put on, of that July time. And Ascending into Overflow are the tantric laws of overflow. It's like a rewriting of your consciousness. Very, very powerful course. Really brings up what's in the way of you being in overflow. And the 7 laws of overflow are essentially the laws that I use to align. Like, they help you to come into alignment. They give you permission to come into alignment. It's an alchemical journey. It's channeled. There's one-to-one support. It's a temple activation, and essentially a rewriting of your consciousness, and a wonderful, wonderful preparation for that tantric awakening in 2020, and this self-generating that we're starting to be invited into. So that is a powerful kind of last healing of the year. The other thing that we have, which I haven't got the description for yet, but I will have it tomorrow, is our winter solstice journey to Avebury. Avebury is so sacred and special, and the details for that should be up hopefully by tomorrow for the winter solstice. And with Avebury, I advise booking your hotel early. So if you're called to come, even if you don't book with us, book your accommodation. Because yeah, Avebury's accommodation is somewhat limited because it's an ancient stone circle. And then I will also put up Solara's Rainbow Gathering for you lastminute.coms that want to be in Palenque with Solara, and I'm holding a couple of things, and that's going to be amazing. And on the 11/11 Mercury transit. So that's everything that Starlight has coming up. Like you will be called. You will know what you are called to. The channeling course, if you're unsure, ask for a sign, because you will get flooded with signs. Amazing that you're moving to Avebury, Gemma. How exciting! Wow, that's really exciting. Who did I introduce you to? Maybe I'll see you in April at the winter solstice. In terms of the channeling course, ask for a sign. The symbol for it is a butterfly, and a blue butterfly, and so sometimes that's the sign, but the universe will communicate to you in the way that's right for you. And so if you ask for a sign, the universe will send it to you if you're going to do it. But because I love signs and synchronicity, this is the card I pulled for the channeling course. Look, butterflies, I pulled it today. Even blue butterflies and healing chaos, which is so right. In the channeling course, you are literally taken into what I would describe as magical chaos, surrounded by synchronicity, so much healing, and literally whirlpooled into new states of consciousness and ascension. And we all need the parts of our life that are no longer in alignment, like those jobs and those relationships and those drains. We need them shaken up now. We need to be shaken up and out of them so that we can create new, more aligned, more fulfilling lives. And so... yay, Gina. I know I'm thinking of Avery last year. You. So it was so beautiful. Gaia was overlighting it, and like she just, oh my god, the magic last year was amazing. Like the guides were like, there'll be music, and we didn't have any musicians with us. Kath didn't have a drum, Erica couldn't come, she wasn't singing, and literally so many places that we turned up for ceremony, there was like, we turned up into Longbarrow, and there was like this guy with a didgeridoo with the lotus symbol, which was the symbol of our journey, on the didgeridoo. And he was like, come, I'll play in your ceremony. And then we got to the trees, and all of these singers came and stood around us, and we're doing singing. It was just amazing. Amazing, amazing. Avery's amazing. Oh, exciting, Laura, about the butterfly. All butterflies are the symbol of the course, but the blue butterfly is particularly significant to the channeling course. But butterflies are just the sign of the course, because it is like, the reason it's the symbol of the course is because you basically are cocooned in all of this energy, and you go through a caterpillar to butterfly process during the 7 weeks. And so it really is a butterfly awakening, basically. And yeah, Zafira, I totally agree. Avery was so beautiful last year. It's beautiful every year, but I'm still buzzing off last year's winter solstice. So that is what I have to share to you. The last thing that I want to say, the two things I want to share now, is the channeling about vibrational manifesting. And maybe I will let my guides say it to you, because they might explain it better than me. And the technique that they gave, which I suggest you make a daily practice for November, what they were showing in terms of, so part of alignment is balancing your masculine and your feminine, balancing your doing and your giving and your receiving, balancing and centering yourself, especially in these like whirlpools and bubbling and gold searching energies that we have. And what my guides told someone in a one-to-one to do today for alignment was put their hands like this, and then put them in their lap. And if you do that now and close your eyes, you will notice that something harmonizes within your energy, that something happens to your energy. And just tune in, connect to what is happening energetically with this essential, I guess it would be a mudra, a channeled mudra. And then opening your eyes, releasing it. We will do meditation with this, but just writing what you experience when you do that to your energy, what happens. So for me, it's like there's suddenly calm. It's like I am brought out of the state of thinking and into the state of listening. And it's like everything quiets down because of the harmonization of my masculine and my feminine. Stillness, great calming. Anybody else? Calmness, calm and centering. Isn't that powerful that you can just do that? Amazing feeling of peace and oneness. And so when there's lots of powerful ascension energies around, and the key is all about inner truth and radical intimacy and listening, the best way to do that is through instant calmness. Level, calm, dancing around the trees, release, amazing Sammy. And so this brings you more quickly into the state of listening. And now we're going to do the meditation, and then I will let my guides talk about the vibrational manifestation. So bring your hands in, and actually it's quite good to do it here at the top, at your third eye, left and right brain, and then at your heart, higher and lower heart, male and female heart, and then at your hara center, left and right energy within the body. And so the three centers of connection, your head, your heart, and your hara, are invited into the sacred union. And the other thing about this channeled mudra is because it's about union, but openness, it also allows you to be very receptive. It is, my guides are saying, an energetic, physical initiation into listening because of that openness, into listening receptivity because of that openness and that quietness. And what you can do then is just invite your male and female energies, your inner and outer energies, to spiral together, to merge together. And opening your hearts and listening to yourselves. And asking, how can I live more of my truth today? How can I align today? What is right for me? Because it is right for everyone. These questions of alignment are the questions to ask this month, and that is your daily practice for the month. Simply to bring your fingers into the channeled listening mudra at your head, heart and hara, letting your energy merge, asking a question of alignment or truth, and letting the answer be heard. Be intimately heard by these three centers of the self, by you. You can do it the night before for the next day, if you're a night owl, or in the morning if you're an early bird. And while you are listening to this, dear children of love, children of light, children of the rainbow, we say to you, that to hear the depths of yourself, the depths that the Scorpio energy can take you to if you permit. The energy of compassion, for others and, more importantly, to yourself is essential. We invite you to not just ask how to align and be more truthful, but also how to be more compassionate with yourselves. Compassion is the medicine that will allow you to hear your truth, for it is lack of compassion for yourself that is so often the reason that you deny yourself your bodies, your inner voice. If you held yourselves within compassion, how could you not let yourselves rest? When you are tired, how could you not let yourselves stop when it is no longer aligned? If you hold yourselves in compassion, you will feel and permit the feelings that express your truth, the feelings that have been ignored and denied and judged. So we invite you in this listening temple mudra position to vibrate with compassion, and we use compassion and the energy of Kuan Yin, who overlights you now, to example the lesson in the 5D way of the law of attraction. For in the 3D way, the law of attraction is to use vibration and visualization to co-create that which you believe will make you happy, that which you want. But this has the control patterns and limitations of the Piscean age within it. And between the 19th and 24th of November, we invite you to manifest with the law of attraction in the 5D way, which is to vibrate with an energy and let that energy create through vibrating from you a reality that matches it. This is how you will access the unlimited potential of the self, the dreams that you are not yet capable of visualizing, the world that has not yet been born. The destiny that is still unknown to you. And we ask you now to open your hearts to the energy of compassion. As you hear Kuan Yin singing to you. And feel her pink, white and green light streaming through the frequencies within your body. And you experience your cellular being vibrating with the tonal frequencies of compassion. Choosing to open up and receive these frequencies. For yourself. And as you receive them, you vibrate them. And as you vibrate, you radiate. And as you radiate, you reflect and project. And these frequencies are then reflected and projected back into you. And so you begin to self-generate with compassion, coming into the unlimited flow of compassion. And inviting this frequency to create through the blueprint of you. Not worrying about how compassion looks, or what it represents. We say that combining this way of manifesting with The 3D way of working with the law of attraction is essential, because many of the dreams that you intended in one timeline will no longer matter on the new timeline. And yet you do not have the materials or technologies of that new world timeline. You only have the frequencies and the sensations. This way of free-fall creation, of trusting that compassion will attract, surround, and overflow its expression through your life. And breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude, releasing your hands from the temple mudra, placing your hands in prayer. Feeling the violet flame coming through you, transmuting all energy that does not serve or belong into love and light. If it is ready to be transmuted, feeling a golden rain shower of light coming down, taking any energy that's meant to go to the earth, and a big beam of source light, taking any energy that is going to go somewhere else, wherever it is in the highest good for it to go. Taking a moment to feel blessed. I forgot the card of the month, so I've just pulled it now, and it's inner peace. How perfectly aligned is that? So inner peace, the key to our truth, my guides are saying. Inner peace is your birthright. Tranquility occurs when you realize that your life is unfolding according to divine planning. So that serenity isn't something you have to work for or search for. It already exists within you. To find inner peace, simplify your life. Spend time in nature. Listen to the message of your soul. True peace transcends fear and connects you intimately to the Creator. Breathe deeply and fully, knowing that all is well. Happy November, my beautiful, amazing Rainbow Warrior Tribe. I will post links up on the Facebook group and in the thank you email. Sorry about the Mercury retrograde showing off with technology problems, but it was wonderful to be live on both Facebook and Webinar Jam in the end. Rock out. I love you all, and what's right for you is right for everyone, because we are all one. So the feeling of it being right for you is the feeling of it being right for everyone. It's impossible. We're one. It can't be right for you and not right for everyone. So much love. Mwah.